It was another day for the history books. Literally, you have not seen a move like this in over 5 years, but
That's me.
But it does not happen that often. And what I'm talking about is that we gapped up today, and at one point on the NASDAQ, you were up over 4%. And we closed down 2.5%. So to flip a move like that, that is not very typical. And now here's where it gets good, because the last time this happened, it was a little bit after the emergency rate cuts in March. So that's the punchline. Only other time you saw this in recent history, you already had your rate cut. So this is very interesting. Even bonds, even after hours. Right now, we're down about 2% on the futures. Trump is actually live right now. I was just listening to him before I went live. He's been talking for like an hour. He said there's even new pharma tariffs coming. I think he kind of snitched on China. We have a lot to talk about, but essentially that China news that we brought up on the watch list last night, it hit hard. So we have a lot to talk about. I have the plays, I have the keys, and this evening, my friends, this is a special watch list. We're going to talk about TLT. We're going to talk about the plays, and we'll see what happens right now at the futures. But do you understand? Right now, this is your first ever members-only watch list. This is just for you. I think it gives people time to watch the other watch list, but those of you who are really locked in, we could continue to move forward. So, I don't know. It seems pretty popping in here, though. So, I don't know how I feel about this. I hope y'all are going to be well-behaved and ready to go. But good evening, baby. So, my people on the recap, you're going to have to bear with me. But thank you all, and thank you to all the new members. That's why I did it. I felt bad. We had a lot of people today, and I was just like, get a membership, and they got a membership. And like, I've never really offered anything for the members except for the recent, 3 months of members only, which has been fun. But yeah, so I said I'll give them something. But like I'm saying, yesterday's watch list is very relevant, and I think we can move ahead, and we have a lot of big events. There's something big coming up. I realized something today, you guys. I have big news for you. That's why I'm so excited. We're going to have a good one, baby. What up, Trading? Blackwater, Kristen, Ryan, Rose. How you doing, Malik? Dakota, you mad, baby? What's going on? Hey, Ray, good evening. Good evening, Alyssa. Joey Cacamo. CJ Anzo, Brian Fierros. What's up, baby? How you doing, Jay? What up, so? What up, Ivy? What up, Mr. Edwards? How you doing, Mohammed? What up, Complex Seymour? Noah. Tim Whitman. Benny Silvario. Hanny. I just built Benny Silvario and Hanny. Benny Silvani. What up, baby? What up, Ben Stone? What up, Lucky Soldier? What up, Jay Esco? How you doing, baby? Are you guys doing good? Don't wear yourself out. I'm just saying. What? You want to throw a philo right ahead of the keys because we got it like that. So, Chattadonia, I hope you're ready. We could even talk long-term at the end of this video, too. That's always a good time. We should talk about it. But here's the deal. Here's the first one. Right off the bat, like I told you, March 25th, 2020. That was the last time that you sold off a 4% rally to go negative. And really, the main point is, like I'm saying, anytime you are experiencing this level of not only like real-life uncertainty, but even market uncertainty and these flip-flops and all of that, it was literally during COVID now. And they already cut rates. So I think that's very interesting because, like we're talking about, that bond move yesterday, if you guys didn't realize, the bonds had a similar move. At one point, the bond yields were down yesterday, and they finished up. But to be down 12 basis points and then finish up over 12 basis points down, that literally has only happened 2 other times in history. So what you watched on TLT and the bonds only happened 3 other times. Literally when Donald Trump was elected and about 3 months before 2008, Lehman Brothers collapse. So very interesting time, and that's why I'm saying now you are kind of seeing this across assets. Bonds are having this volatility. You've been watching it on equities. Currencies are going crazy, and that's why I have a lot of pretty pictures to show you. So maybe we should start with that. But when it's all said and done, like I'm telling you, I would be paying attention to a lot of things right now. And if you haven't realized it yet, that bomb has kind of already went off a little bit, even from the tariffs. And quite frankly, today we still have a little bit more. So I think you should start looking at things, and there's a lot of scenarios out there, but we are in peak volatility that you have not seen, or you've only seen at the earlier part of this decade. So I hope you're locked in for all of it, but that was the big price action part that we got. But now, I guess before we jump into it, I might as well give you guys all the pretty pictures here because there's a lot. And like I'm saying, I think it ties in to this price action and volatility, but here's one chart for you to focus on. Not really, but just the price level for the SPX. Are you guys ready? 4915.32. That, my friends, is the bear market level. So at that point, you will be down 20%. And to give you a visual of today's move, the other day, that over 8% top to bottom, that was the other biggest move since COVID. And then now today, intraday was the biggest one, but overall the move was smaller than yesterday because a lot of that happened even on the pre-market. So this was just intraday on the cash open. But 49.15.32, that is your bear market level. That is when you will be down 20%. Now, here's something interesting about that because I'm sure now all of a sudden hard landing and recession is in vogue. But think about it. You are almost now down 20% from the peak. Think February 18th, that was your all-time high, and now you are getting absolutely clapped. So 20% will be a bear market, but now what this chart is showing you, the last 12 recessions since World War II, 1948 all the way to 2020, it's showing you EPS as well as like market decline. But long story short, the average recession, the market goes down 24%. So right now we're still right below the 20% mark is in terms of market. So what does that mean? That means there's still potentially broader downside, but that also means you're going to have some people starting to nibble. Again, make no mistake, the fear is high, and people are worried about a lot, but at this point, I brought this up today, and I think you guys see it now. A lot of things came down. I mean, there's a lot of prices from big tech all the way down to value that are a little bit lower, and really pretty much what they're saying, SPY 5,000, you have literally gotten back to where you were at April of 2024. People are going to start buying, and then they get more aggressive if we go down. I think the lowest target is for like 4,000, I believe, on the SPX, which is kind of crazy, but that's where they think the ultimate cash horde of tsunami starts to flush in. So I thought that was interesting, but there's that chart, and now here's another one. Do you know what this chart is showing you? I think this is an interesting one because you just had something kind of happen. What is this chart showing you? This is not K-Web in China, believe it or not. The good old cash tsunami. Oh, the news wire is in the way. That's all you see? My bad. Yeah, I've showed you this. Not credit default swaps. Oh, there you go. Look at it. You guys learn. You see? I appreciate you. I love it. Yeah, the skew. So remember, we've been talking about this for a lot lately, and we were saying, you got to watch out in the money, out the money, right? Well, that VIX move is absolutely insane. Like I'm saying, I mean, there's not too many times you've had the VIX above 50, how it is, but the VIX took off again, and we were saying the out of the monies were lagging, but now on this latest move, this is bringing skew to the highest level since end of 2024. So but this is both good and bad now. This is why we have made money on some of these out of the monies. Oh! What happened? Hello? Can you hear me? They said that it's gone. Don't know if they hear me. And Larry Fink hates the bonds, but Josh knows the secret. And he gonna tell you. If you don't listen and say it 1,000 times. But he'll tell you, and then he'll rhyme. I think I'm back online. Bow down, bow down. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch it. All right, we back? I don't know what happened. That's cool, though. But, yeah, skews came up. And like I was saying, you just saw this recently. And the thing about all of this is that now you're like actually getting like a crash. If you notice the difference between that slow burn sell-off where VIX was going up and skew was going down, the market just started going down 5% at a time. So do you see why skew kind of makes sense? But now this is what you got to be careful for. Every out-of-the-money option right now is batshit expensive. Do you understand? So that literally means any play right now, 100% out of the money, is going for 5-6 times more. It's insanely expensive. That's why even you saw it today, because all of those out of the monies this morning, they went down to like a penny. You could have had plays at 10, 20 cents yesterday. They literally were at a penny. And then they came back after we flipped and went down. But point is, all of those out the monies now, you just got to be careful. I was showing it live today on stream. We were going over, and I was just saying, like, even the dollar moves, you just got to be very, very careful of it. So watch out for that. The other chart, just on the short term, this is your gap now between the 10-year and the SPY. So tomorrow you're going to be a little lower based on the futures and even a little higher now. And I have a secret for you. I'm going to tell you, I think I kind of figured it out. I can't wait to share more with you. So watch out for that. But the final thing now, and this is going to lead now into the second key and what happened today was all about China. Okay, and the two charts I want you to see is that, well, maybe we'll talk about it and then I'll finish it with the pretty picture, but the China news from yesterday ended up hitting. And if you don't know what it was, remember, all of a sudden, I was telling you, Trump is speeding it up, and it was aggressive yesterday, but the market kind of ignored it. He said he was going to raise the tariffs 50%. So what ended up happening this morning is that we started and we gapped up on the news that that Japan was going to be flying over to work on a trade deal. So, and then South Korea as well. So market was like, wow, South Korea, Japan trade deal. That's a good sign. So they gapped it up 4%, right? And then about an hour later, 2 hours later, Chinese currency starts moving, and then we get the news, Caroline Levitt, she literally confirms that midnight time China, she said, yeah, Apple and all these China, it'll be 100% now on the tariffs. And she confirmed it, and then we absolutely started dumping. There was a bunch of headlines in between, but it was literally that China news. Now, this is where it gets interesting because we knew about this yesterday. And this is where I'm saying you got to be very careful. We'll talk about it, but long story short, the market, man, you were up 4%. The market chose to focus on a good rumor, but it ignored what it already knew. And then right when it got the double confirmation, just caused one of the biggest intraday moves in 5 years. But the thing is, this was in the wee hours of the morning. I kept talking about a China rumor. We knew about this at 5 a.m. Pacific time. There was literally talks about they were saying there was like leaked some blog in China. They leaked info saying that China could attack agriculture, back out of the fentanyl stuff, do stuff again. It was agriculture, and there was another topic that they brought up. We even heard it reiterated today, but long story short, they even said they were going to fight to the end. It was talking about China escalation. We knew about all of that in the morning, and then again, this and what chart I'm showing you, this is the Chinese yuan. And this is very important now because people are tying this into TLT. So, and this is now where it gets very, very crazy. I'm going to show you this chart, and now we're going to watch it. Futures, kind of. I don't know if there's any news. PBOC, oh, well, you get the China fixing right now. So China actually fixed the currency lower instead of higher. So that's actually interesting. But here's the good one. Are you ready? All of a sudden now, and Trump, during his speech that was just live right now, he said China devalued their currency, but I don't think they did that. So I don't know. Maybe I missed it, but so that's interesting. But after today now, after the 100% tariffs, oh, this is very fascinating because this is now the volatility on the Chinese yuan. And the last time the Chinese yuan was this volatile, there was a couple moments in 2024, again, when China was really getting very clapped, but 2019, and then it's a little bit more volatile than 2015. So this is very interesting, but long story short, like we've been talking about, China, they're the number one culprit in all of this, and I really think that's the area heating up, but all eyes are going to be on the Chinese yuan now. Pretty much there might be a back and forth between the yuan and bonds, but it's kind of a game of chicken between the yuan and the 10-year. I guess which one could withstand the most pain before somebody pivots. So add that to the multiple games of chicken going on now between the market, Powell, and Trump. So, ta-da! We're going to talk more about that, though. That's not it, but I just want you to understand all the pretty pictures I've had for you and what happened today. It was all this China news when it was all said and done. Like I said, there was a couple of headlines, even Trump today. Right now, after the bell, you're hearing more, and pretty much by midnight tonight, I think it's already happened overseas. You literally have 100% tariffs on China. That is absolutely insane. So everybody so far is still going slow. Italy, they said today they'll negotiate on April 17th, but you have a lot of time, and like I'm telling you, in this game of chicken and all of this pressure building, I mean, everyone's taking their sweet time, and I think purposefully, but in the meantime now, we are going to be playing a very, very odd game, but oh, yeah, do you guys see it though? So that being said, I realized the other thing. Are you ready? And you should be important, okay? You should be very, 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 like, there's a big event coming, man. There's a very, very big event coming. I realized it. I didn't think about it, and I'm like, oh, man, you're getting big up and then big down, volatility. It's not earnings. You do have that, though. You should definitely think about it. No. It's so stupid. You have the minutes tomorrow, but it's not that. It's not CPI. Fuck the CPI. You don't care about the CPI. No one cares about the CPI. I figured it out, bro. It's so simple. So easy. So easy a caveman. So here, I'll give it away. Are you ready? So easy a liberal can do it. Yeah. Let it digest. Give it a second. White full rate. White full rate. Come on. Come on. Come on. Sit. White full rate. I think they're broken. They're not getting it. They're not getting it. I think I broke them. Only one person said it. Oh, that. Oh, I got another one. Hey, pop in. I got another. There it is. They understood it. There you go. A couple of people got it. They're waking up. Yeah, bro, it's so easy. So easy. Dude, consumer sentiment is on Friday. I'm serious right now. Believe me. Do I want this to be the event? I don't. This is dumb shit. I'm fighting myself for me to believe this. Do you understand? It's just dumb as hell. It's the dumbest thing ever. In the brink of the biggest drop in decades, and the brink of all, it rests in the hands of a bunch of liberals in Michigan, and I already know what they put. I already know what they voted on it. Do you think it got better? Do you think they were like, So, I'm being dead serious, though, because think about it now. Because after all of this nonsense today, you're practically unchanged in the last 24, 48 hours, right? And then now we have 2 more days left in the week. Tariffs come into play. If it's either going to be all bad reaction tomorrow, or it's going to be a mix of everything. Then you'll get Thursday, and then you'll actually start to get the start of earnings. But then at that point, either you're hitting a crazy new low or you're still holding the range. And then Friday will be the CPI. But if hypothetically you get no trade developments, good or bad, think about it. Where are we going to move up or down if you're looking for a big bounce or a death blow? What has caused every single move this year? And it hasn't been your non-farms. It hasn't been your consumer or your CPI. It's literally been the consumer sentiment. So now all I'm saying is at one point at the end of this week, we are going to get a headline saying how people expect 89% inflation or just something ridiculous. That headline is hitting my wire on Friday. I promise you. I don't know it for certain, but if you see where I hope I'm wrong, but all I'm saying is I'm going to operate under that mind frame because so far that has been our big driver. And now it's like if we're going to play this little back, because again, otherwise we start making big moves. Let me put it this way. The bigger we move ahead of the consumer sentiment, the less likely I think it'll have a major reaction, or it'll start to get skewed to a certain direction. Make no mistake, it might even play out like that October CPI, if you remember. Think about it. So, if we plummet in the next 48 hours, right? Let's say tomorrow we dump, then the next day we dump, and then consumer sentiment, they're like, everybody who dyed their hair purple thinks inflation is at 72,000%, right? And then the market just death blows, right? Is going to flush, death blow for 30 minutes, and then that's it. You bottom out, and then you're going to start ripping out of nowhere. We've seen that before. If it goes low enough, fast enough. That's one outcome. Otherwise, it does nothing, and we kind of just cuck and rob everybody for the next 48 hours. And then on Friday, boom, consumer sentiment. Unless it comes in lower, there is a chance, but like I'm saying, that's going to be the main driver, though, at bare minimum. Although I do think the direction will be biased. I'm not biased. They're biased. That's why I'm biased. You get what I'm saying? I'm not even trying to be biased, but I know how biased they are, so I understand the bias, so I have to be biased because I know it's inherently biased, but I'm not trying to be biased, but since they are so biased, I have to technically have some level of bias. Does that make sense? But it could come in lower, and that could be bullish, but so keep that in the realm of possibility, but unfortunately, I think there is a bias that exists. But yeah, other than that, though, that is your real event. That I make no mistake. the next couple days, these moves will be kind of critical, especially with the bonds and now the Chinese yuan. I mean, you're literally just kind of on the brink of a lot of things bubbling. But when it's all said and done, if the market really is looking for an event, or if a lot of people are looking for an excuse to buy, sell, and move the SPY a couple 100 points, it rhymes with some Schumer Shemamim, and it has blue hair. But that's key number 2. And yeah, Fed minutes now. Like I'm saying, here's the thing. It makes sense with everything. Fed minutes tomorrow, it might give you a move, it might not. But today showed you something. This is why a lot of people don't like this volatility. No one likes being up 4% and then selling off 3.5%, 5% or whatever. It's not a good sign. And that just shows you the market was choosing at one point, we're going to ignore China stuff, react to good news, but then we ignored good news yesterday. But then once we hear about the China news, we're going to react again to it now, but this time bigger. It's because you're in tantrum mode. So I really think a lot of the data, if it meets the narrative to sell bonds, stagflation, some of that, I think is going to move. That's what's been getting us jumpy. Otherwise, just kind of be mindful that you're still fully in tantrum mode. And I would tell you this, though. Today we had key developments, and even though the options were scammy in a small window, if it really is a key development with follow-through, that ended up playing out very well. The problem is, one of these days, it's going to stop. And that's what you got to be careful of. And like I'm saying, one of these days we'll go back to, you don't have to worry about the rug getting pulled from underneath you. But until then, we're kind of in this odd mode. So at the end of the day, just be careful on any mode. But you are in tantrum mode. The market is literally picking and choosing what it wants to respond to. And the premiums now at this point are absolutely insane. All right? So keep that in mind. But that is key number 2. And then finally, just a reminder, be on watch for the real big trade deal. And what I mean by that is not the rumor, but one of these days, that is still what everybody is looking for. So that's the real pivot you want, because that will be a pivot to some degree once we finally get a final number. That's why we have volatility, because we have no idea where we are really going to settle at. And that's the scary part, and that's what we need to find out. But like I've been saying here the last couple of days, the very important factor is quite simply, at this point, enough volatility, enough damage in the market, enough things have changed. You either start buying at a policy pivot or you settle at a specific price. And I think you need to pick your own prices. I also think the market is eventually going to settle at a price. So hypothetically speaking, if nobody ends up pivoting policy, I think eventually the SPY and NASDAQ, they will find a price low enough, albeit very low, and then it'll start chopping around, working its way out. But that's scary too, because you don't know where that is. But are you understanding the broader view right now? I think this is very important, because you could go today, you could go tomorrow. It doesn't matter, but do you realize you're going to swing 5-10% here, there? You might have a way better, a way worse opportunity, because you're in the midst of the highest volatility in a very, very long time. Do you understand that? Yeah, futures are down, bro. After that little pop, you guys were saying that there, but do you guys understand? Oh, yeah, wow. Bitcoin at 74,000. Nah, but do you feel me? I'm not talking about a straddle. I'm just talking about understanding the market, understanding where it's going to settle, understanding good opportunities for the long term. I mean, you could tie this into short-term trading, but I think this is just kind of, market info to understand where things are going. And if you want to know, where the tide is changing or not, I think these are this is the factor now. That's it. I think some people have not grasped how serious this has been and how big this has been. Even then, like we said, even at the beginning, I'm like, yo, this is a bomb. A lot of people kind of underestimated how crazy the number was, and it was very easy to. So, but you have to really understand now at this point, the market is going to get out of this freak out tantrum mode once there is a pivot somewhere with either Trump in trade policy or Jerome Powell, or it's going to settle at a certain price. And you need to do the same thing too. I think you could really start to open the floodgates, get aggressive once we start to get a pivot somewhere. Otherwise, you set your specific prices and then you execute your plan and call it a day. And that's it. So, and that's not a bad plan either. So like I'm saying, I have a couple prices, but I also think too, yeah, you might want to wait for a move on some actions, but then again, who knows how long or short this could take now. And that is the true breeding ground of all this uncertainty. So we'll see where it all leads. But now, Chad, I'll give you the futures to watch. But that is all I have for the keys. But now, let us get into the plays. So, right off the bat, I need to drink some water. But do you know what the first play is going to be? That's it for the keys. I took a while there, though. 31 minutes. T-O-T. T-O-T. Well, you are indeed right. So if you haven't figured it out right now, I'm on April 17th. I'm on the 2 weeks, bro. Come on. I think there is a huge opportunity in the next 2 weeks. It's kind of already played out. I mean, literally, TLT has moved 5% in 24 hours. That's insanity. But even up until the next 6 months now, the lower we go, make no mistake, you guys, this confusion is ripe for TLT. That's the whole point, is that everybody should be asking what the fuck is going on. I think that's why it's bittersweet, because I have to explain it, and I'm trying to let y'all know, be flexible and understand it, but it kind of highlights that opportunity right now in TLT. So there's 2 windows. I have one play for the next 2 weeks. I haven't set up my plays for the next 6 months, but after that, I will start looking out. But you should be watching for either a pivot or not. Again, long story short, that pivot that I'm talking about here, whether it's Powell or it is Donald Trump and even the deal, the bonds are going to make a major move off of that. And that will happen in the next 6 months or whenever that occurs. But I would be looking out for that. But here's the deal. TLT is a damn minefield right now, both good and bad. What I mean by that is you are going to hit some and get destroyed. Let me put it this way. Even in the next 2 weeks, there will be one play on TLT. One of them will be up 1,000%. And the one right outside of it, 50 cents out of the money, will be absolutely worthless. This is what I mean by a minefield. That's what I'm saying. It might be the April 9th. It might be the April 20th too. You're going to have a wide gap between the strike prices and dates. No, but for real, do you understand why? Because again, the other day I hit a TLT put. That was 1,500%. But it was crazy because that is just straight up at certain times. You'll be able to get the expiration at good enough price. You end in the money. I made 1,500% on that play. The contract right outside was worthless. Same thing on the call side as well, too. Yeah, well, and that's what I mean by it's going to be a minefield here. And that's what you got to really think about and be kind of cautious, scale in. But ultimately, if you go out of your budget right now, this isn't the time to blow your load, my friend. Like I said, I would go within your budget. Once we kind of confirm it, then I would go crazy. I have a very big play on it because I made a fuck ton of money in the last week or two ahead of that. Again, I had those 2 sets of UVXYs and a couple of other TLTs before it started to go down. But when it's all said and done there, you need to understand there will be specific opportunities. It's not just playing out of the money, near the money. It's not up and down. It's going to be at a strike price expiration level. There will be a very big difference between strike prices. Make no mistake. But now, why are we so focused on TLT right now? It is literally the volatility and the unknown. Let me put it simply. The bond market is saying something right now. Like I'm telling you, or it's real. If it's real, the bonds should be freaking out. The bonds are not freaking out, as weird as that may sound. But what are the bonds really saying? The bonds are saying that you are going to get stagflation. The bonds are saying they're worried about inflation and they're worried about growth. That's why when the market and growth dumps, the bonds don't go get a bid. That's why when they're doing all these tariffs, the bonds went from bid to sell off. So I don't know if it's natural. I don't know if it's vigilante. Call it. Doesn't matter. The bonds are literally saying stagflation. That's all. They have a belief. And that's being reflected in this action. And again, if it stays permanent, there you go. But I have a problem with that. What is my problem with that? This is my whole point of why I'm saying you should be watching. I have a really big problem with that. The bond market is saying, no, man, you're getting stagflation. Although I do think demand destruction is the answer, yes. And ultimately, deflation, sadly, you have to stop at stagflation before deflation unless it just jumps there. But that's not the answer. Think about it. Why don't I like that? The bond market is saying very clearly, no, you're going to get stagflationary environment. You're going to have growth down and inflation high. And this is why it looks so weird. This is why and I have something else I got another bomb for you after this. But this is why it looks every day. That's why TLT in the bonds, it sticks out like a sore thumb. Like I'm telling you, this type of move only happened 3 times ever in history. That's why. But here's my problem. Are you ready? My problem with all this, and this is why I'm saying the opportunity is this volatility and the unknown. My problem is that the bond market is much too certain in a very uncertain environment right now. Ta-da! Because although I could buy your stagflation argument, it completely rules out any other opportunity. From Jerome Powell all the way down to a trade deal to anything. Long story short, it only leaves one conclusion, and I think that is insane right now to think that there is only one outcome in this level of uncertainty. So although the bond market may be correct, I don't think that's the only answer right here, right now, at this moment today, a couple days into this craziness. Does that make sense? That's my problem with all of this right now, and that's where I think there's an opportunity in pricing, whether it's really high or really low. It's going to blow one way or the other, but it's way too certain in what it is signaling. Meanwhile, at this point, all bets are off. You are getting 100% tariffs on China. The VIX is near fucking 60 or something. Like, this is getting out of hand right now. What are we talking about? Meanwhile, you've seen again what happened I've seen bank runs and many other less cause way more. So at this point now, I think it's almost a sense of hubris to assume it's only going to lead to that. Whereas, I mean, I would rather consider deflation at that point. Damn it. So yeah, there's other theories there too, and we'll talk about it. But I'm thinking a strangle. I'm mad because you could have got some other puts, but remember, those are the ones I hit on yesterday. So they were a little bit up, but the last 2 days, calls are going to be a little cheaper. But in the next 2 weeks, I think the bond market is going to kind of start to get some of the uncertainty that the market has because it's acting way too certain in a very uncertain moment. Now, are you ready for this? Here's my other bomb for you. I like this one. Let's see, where are futures at? Futures came back up. Bitcoin a little bit too. Are you ready? So now, you've been getting everybody on TV, right? Like Gunlock, Fink, Fitch, even the credit agency. They've all been saying the Fed can't cut rates. Even if they did, inflation. You've heard all that, right? Yeah, I figured out why they're doing it. I understand it now. Very simply. They don't hate you that much. It is because it is a win-win for them, no matter what. Because these guys already get to lock in, or they're literally a bank like BlackRock, and they get to benefit off the higher rates, or they get to already lock it in. But think about it. If the rates stay high here, you don't lose anything if you've already dealt with it and have a business segment that could benefit off of it. But do you realize that this is actually pressuring Powell? It's the reverse now. Because now this isn't allowing... Think about what Powell would say. No, do you get what I'm telling you? Because do you think these guys wouldn't want a rate cut? Fuck out of here. They want a rate cut more than anybody. They would benefit off a rate cut as well, too. They benefit if the rates are high. They benefit off the rate cut. Nah, Powell has said something else. It's reverse psychology. It really is. It's a win-win for them. But now they could pressure Powell by going on TV saying, nah, you can't do anything. Nah, look, all the yields, everything. Look, it won't work. Nah, Powell can't cut rates. Nope, the yield should be higher. Think about it. It doesn't take away, but what Powell has said something. I'm going to tell you it, and you're going to go, oh. I'll give you a second. Let me I should probably get some water while you think. Oh, the market does our job for us. You don't recall Powell talking about how if they talk about things, the market will react for them? Yeah, guess what? It didn't do that this time. Literally, look at it. That's why there's a huge fucking gap between the SPY dropping 15% and the bonds now negative. So what do you mean? So it didn't matter even if, and then now with all these guys saying it, I think them not advocating for it, they could uphold all of their political positions. Meanwhile, this bond move eventually, like I'm saying, if the market's doing it, I still think it's starting to circle the ball back around to Powell once again. Ta-da! So yeah, that's the other secret for you. But that's why, if you're kind of baffled and you're like, why are these guys doing it? I don't think they hate you that much. I just think they win no matter what. Like, literally. That's why, because again, and then it's adding pressure for somebody to do something if they're like, nah, rates should be higher. Because again, and then if rates are higher, you're already locked in. You're making money as a bank. You don't have any over leverage it's not affecting you in that same way. Meanwhile, if there was a cut, they could still benefit. But now Powell doesn't have the market doing his job. So every other time, and Powell got kind of cocky with it, he would talk about the market doing his job. But this time, I mean, at least in the last 72 hours, I mean, it broke, homeboy. Or at least that's not working. So we'll see. But I hope that helps you. Other than that, do I have more plays? I do. Boeing and Apple, play number 2. I might just bet on these the next 2 weeks. I still think they're going to be the target. So besides any other news developments, I would watch those. I added to a Boeing today. They were for 1 penny. I like the 1 penny plays. I'm going to look for those. But they were few and far between. And then Apple, I played the news today. So instead of we got the news of Caroline Leavitt within seconds, the SPY was kind of tweaked out. I actually hit a SPY, and we got a good play. That play you would have made, I think, a couple hundred or close to 1,000%. But I got it. I made it free, made like 60%, sold the other ones out at like 100 or 200%. But then I bought Apple puts. I bought out of the money apples, and then those went up like 70, but I went pretty big on them. So I debated making it free, and then I just bought an Apple call because I calculated it, the put would make me more money. So I was like, all right, let's run it. But other than that, Boeing and Apple, I think those are going to be big. And then, yeah, that's the other play. I gave this one during Philo. It's kind of late, but I would keep an eye out for it because they already went up almost 100%. But Tyson, you're watching the trade, the rhetoric ramp up with China, and everybody keeps talking about agriculture. But back in 2018, I mean, Tyson was a real, do you guys remember that? Tyson was like a trade war stock back in the day. They don't feel me, bro. Y'all don't remember. So back in last trade war, bro, this shit would gap down all the time. It's like actually at the same price, believe it or not. So yeah, but chicken and food and pork and beef, I've heard a lot of that today in relation to really big tariffs, and I'm surprised. Yeah, this thing's kind of been pinned. So the options sucked. You couldn't really find any cheap plays, and like it's kind of been pinned there. But we bought a play that moved 70% by close, so 100% on the ask. Very wide spreads, but other than that, it has a little bit of time. So maybe if we get any other word on that, but other than that, I do think the agriculture will affect them instead of Tyson. So we'll see. No Bitcoin short. I wanted to play MSTR. I've been flipping that back and forth, but I think I'm going to wait on any of that. I'm just going to let it do its thing. At this point, I think there's a bigger opportunity in bonds. I've never seen anything like this, and I'm glad history agrees because I've never seen bonds this stable in this type of movement. No! Bro, I sold my UVXY plays. I had UVXY plays coming into today. They got clobbered. They were down like 70% on the bid at one point in today. And then they shouldn't have been up. They were up like 50 to 70%. And I was like, no fucking way. And I sold out of them at 70 or 50%. Those shits tripled on the bid. I think they ended up 5Xing. But yeah. Can I share the TLT play? No. Because I think by talking about a play and trying to explain people this, and document this like wild opportunity with the bonds right now, I think people saw that as an invitation to like, I want to babysit their plays. So no, I don't want to. So unfortunately, I just think that you got to make a tough decision. But like I'm saying, I would feel foolish at bare minimum if I just wasn't watching the bonds right now in the next couple of weeks just because of, like I'm saying, of what's going on. Can't flex if you don't post it. I won't. I didn't. So I made 6 figures very recently. I haven't told you until then, till right now. So, don't force it out of me. But yeah, I don't plan to. You're welcome. I hope you enjoy it. I mean, futures are up 70 points. Not bad. News on that. I don't think, let me check. China falls 3%. That's it. Taiwan, PBOC will continue to strongly urge us to review tariffs. Japan. It's probably going to be another Japan rumor. But no, other than that, China's actually down. Everything kind of moved, though, but you're still down 1%. NASDAQ, yeah, everything about 0.9, 1%. No, they strengthened their currency today. I'm pretty sure. I haven't checked like the actual quote, but based on what I read, the fixing seemed lower. Let's see. Yeah. No, yeah, they strengthened. They did the opposite. Well, Trump said they were going to weaken. That's why I was like, I don't think they did like an official one. I think they like widened the range, but that's why I was like, did he leak that? But yeah, it is it is off of the highs, but no, I don't think it's intervention. I think it's a managed it's a fixed but managed essentially, or it's floated but managed. So this is what China does. They let it float, but they set the range. So they kind of fix it or they kind of manipulate it, but it's kind of normal. But then Trump was insinuating that they're manipulating it. I don't know if they did another one, but again, now the yuan volatility is through the roof and everybody's looking at it, and it makes sense. That's what today, even before we got the Caroline Levitt stuff, the yuan started moving first, and that's why we started talking about it. I was like, dude, this is China, and then all of that hit. But yeah, watch. But look, right now, I think even though China's down, they've strengthened the currency a lot from that peak. So that's a good sign. But I still think it's going to be God knows what between now and tomorrow. Or now, yeah, because like literally ever since that one night, bro, every single morning you could go to bed, but these Asian China sessions, it could end up either way. 1201. Apple premiums? No, I don't think it'll be. I think it'll be, I mean, I don't know. It'll suck because if it gaps down, they'll hit, but those premiums are already juiced. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh, you can't see the screen? Yeah, it's like you're right here. The range looks so big, but so that's a huge move off the bottom. But again, you're flirting with 5,000. And again, 5,000 is a big level. This is where people are thinking, again, this is where you start to nibble and dip buy, or this is where some of that money gets unleashed. But people think the real aggressive dip buyers come in a lot lower. But this is already pretty nuts. The third time was this time. So, or I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm assuming the bond flip-flop from yesterday. Otherwise, today's move, I think the back and forth was 2020 and then 2008. And then today. Yeah, the bond flop has only happened 2 other times, and then yesterday was the 3rd time. So the day after Trump was elected the first time, it's the only other time the bonds did that, and then 2008. Societe Generale, there was a big bond loss, $5 billion at like some bank, at a hedge fund, and that was like 3 months ahead of Lehman, and people panicked, and then it got absolutely clapped. How does this TLT feel versus the last one you hit? Just doesn't give a fuck how I feel. And that's why all I'm saying here is it may not be this one, it may be it. I don't know. All I know is that the bond market is awfully certain and we are at a it's a very uncertain moment. But I wouldn't mind a cheap play here. So that's what I did. I took a portion of my profits and I siphoned them off into dirt cheap plays on TLT. That's it. Make it unlosable. And you could tell me whatever you want, but let the market be certain about whatever it believes. But I think today was a crash course on how fast price certainty can flip. But yeah, I had to. I think I would regret it in that sense. But again, I don't know. There's no guarantees. It may be a dud. It's already dropped 2.5%. So good luck and make your decision. But maybe it develops instantly. Maybe it develops by the end of the year. But like I'm saying, it's more so the fact that most people have never seen this level of stock volatility with bonds not with moving how they are right now. Oh, baby. Bro, did I get a bug bite? Bro, I think I got a bug bite. What the fuck is this? Oh, pray for Rose? Oh, man. I'm sorry, bro. I don't know who Rose was, but I will have prayers up. I'm sorry to hear. Said Nick Timmerhouse tweet. Snapchat. I'd leave it alone right now. Why? Because everything good dumping. You buy Snapchat if you miss the good dip. That's it. Does that make sense? So if you let me put it this way. If you manage in the next 12 months, if you manage to not get any of the good quality stocks, right? If you don't walk away with a blue chip in the next 12 months, then you could buy Snapchat. Then you could start, because then that means you probably missed the good place. But for now, that's, I think you have way better opportunities because Snapchat is going to stay there. Might go a little lower, but no. So I looked at UPS, but I don't. UPS, bro, that payout ratio is too high. Whirlpool is kind of odd, but I still kind of like them. But UPS payout ratio is too high. Estee Lauder payout ratio is too high. Oh, I forgot to check Target, but there's only a few that could withstand. Because a lot of these now, bro, they're about to go down enough. A lot of them, we are already living in dividend cut world, so got to watch out. Nike's legit. Nike has no worry. Nike's 3% now. That one's not bad. What was the other one? Pfizer, I forgot the payout ratio. It wasn't as bad. Pfizer. What a time. What a time to be alive. Oh, no. Pfizer's but Pfizer, I don't know how they've done it. Pfizer's insane. Pfizer's at 120. That's insane. In December 23, though, they were at 465. 465. Senator Ron Wyden announces bipartisan reduction to end Trump's global tariffs. I know. Shit. He's only advocating for garlic tariffs. What is this? Taiwan economy minister says no official notice received on fine. Dramatic increase in export control enforcement. Commerce investigating TSMC for making chips for China-based SoftGo matching Huawei design. Probe may violate export controls. Penalties could reach twice the transaction value. Around 3 million chips allegedly produced. TSMC faces $1 billion fine over chip link, Reuters. So, yeah, look, futures are popping right now. I don't know if you guys see it. So there's something about Taiwan, no official on fine, and then TSMC getting financed. What's SPY for the long term? I mean, you might be able to buy it now, but I don't know. I've always been an individual guy. But I'm kind of, at this point, I'm kind of waiting for policy pivot or the market to kind of settle into this. Please hold, bro. I had this. I need to eat this. I had to eat a protein chip. It's staring at me. I'll move up. It was magical. Protein chips. Yeah, bro, I need to eat. What did I eat last time? I ate something on stream. Oh, I had the pudding, I think. Oh, the nuggets. Yeah. The gym was good. You had a PR on dumbbell press. I did dumbbell press too. TSM, huge pop. A little bit. I mean, there's news about a fine right now. Maybe it's lower than expected. But yeah, the long term though, start shopping. I'm not gonna lie, man. I want to buy something so bad. I might do it. I don't know. I want to buy everything. I want to use one of the deposits. I want to save it. So either way, I think we have flexibility, but remain vigilant. You should be shopping. You should be if you got low cash, you gotta wait. You gotta wait. My cash right now is at 4%, I think. Do you guys want to see the long term? Do you want to see what damage looks like? Are you ready? I told you to buy a house at the high, bro. I said you don't have to run away. And after I told you to make up your mind or it's going to dump, it dumped 10%. Are you ready for the damn? That's what I'm saying. This is very, I don't even think the long term's ever had a candle like this. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? You want to see it? Yeah, it's in my wound. You want to see my battle scar? It hasn't scarred yet. This one's still fresh. Wait till it scars up, though. I'll show you it later. Give me like a year. This one's going to be a good one. Oh, yeah. This one's I fucking love this shit. I've dealt with this. Are you kidding me now? Like, I never understood. Like, excuse my inappropriateness. But I'm being dead serious. I never understood masochism. I never understood a dumb bitch like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? What's wrong with you? You ain't get hugged? Why do you like pain? What the fuck is wrong with you? I get it now. Because at some point, I'm like borderline not even like... It's kind of sickening that I do like... I get excited. Like, I don't know how to describe it to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, that being said, here is the damage. This candle, wicked, hasn't scarred yet, but we'll see it later. Oh! Vertical, bro. Straight down. You've never seen this in your long term. Bro, 238 to 211 in 48 hours. I know. See, this is the part that's crazy, though. Bro, the market's back at April levels, so fuck off. First of all, it is a down payment. I told you, I was already shopping for compounds. Oh, they're like, no, Josh, keep it. No, Josh. I'm like, hey, guys, FDIC limit. Oh, hey, guys, you should shop for a house. We were live looking at compounds. Oh, yeah, what? What? Yeah, motherfucker, yeah. But I love it. I'm not, motherfucker, are you kidding me? I know, listen, let me put it this way. I was the youngest in my family, okay? Shout out all my youngins out there. So out of all my siblings, I'm the youngest. And they always told me that I got the beating the least. So they said I got the Bible beating way less than any of them. And now, in my mind, I got a beating, bro. I got my ass whooped. I'm like, what? I'm like, y'all tripping, bro. Y'all tripping. But, nah, they're right. So that's where your long term is right now. There was no escaping the last 48 hours. I told you that. I literally, while this account was at 238, I told you that. I told all of you, I said, if you're not ready for this, it's about to get, I just said, because you're going to sell it at a way lower price. If you don't, just take it now. So, no escaping what just happened. But yeah, we're still doing better than the rest of the world. Like, no exaggeration. I mean it. Year to date, now we're down 4%. SPY is down 13. Dow Jones down 14. The SPY ETF is back to the same trading level as April 24. And then the whole world, excluding USA, is down 5% now. So the only thing is the bonds, but then again, after today, it'll probably be wiped out too. So, yeah. There you go. Ta-da! Didn't you just buy a house, Jamar? I think you actually cashed out the long term and bought a house. So yeah, you saved 20% by switching to real estate. You already won. Literally. But yeah, I hope you guys see it though. So again, welcome to the long term game. You're still outperforming technically, but oh yeah, motherfucker, we're all losing now. I told you, it's still the same boat. We're just we're just the youngest now. We got the beating less, but we all getting whooped, bro. That's just, again, you can't avoid that. Trump says he told TSMC if they don't. Oh yeah, that was earlier. Yeah, man, isn't that wild? Ringa ringa ringa. Yeah, that's it, man. Squid Game. Ta-da! Not bad though. Not bad. Yeah, that's your long term. But we have way more work to do. Use the opportunity. One day you'll look back at this one. Maybe it'll be a lot higher. Maybe it'll be a lot lower. Who knows? Find out on the next episode of The Long Term. But on that note, I will leave you there. God bless you. God bless America. Chattadonia, I will see you in the morning. Bright and early. No data. We just wait on China. Look at Asia, bro. It's up. It's down. All of it, bro. So, I love you. God bless you. Have a wonderful day, okay? A wonderful rest of your evening. Be blessed and do not stress, my friend, okay? That sound good? That sounds good. All right. I love you. Have a wonderful one, baby. Finger to the sky. You are blessed. I'll save the philo for you. You know, I'll save it for you. The poetry of life. Be fruitful, my brother. Be fruitful. Finger to the sky, baby. I love you all. Have a wonderful evening. And horn on.